Hi friends and welcome to Pathik Lockdown Series Part 2. This is episode number 6. So last time we discussed about what will happen if I fall behind in the race of life, how to face competition, and in which we recommended that you should be clear about the purpose of your life. One of the viewers put a comment there saying, how do I find the purpose of my life? And here we are with a video precisely telling you that. So the topic of today's video is how to find the purpose of your life. Before we proceed, I would like to remind you, if you have still not liked the channel or subscribe for the channel, please click on the like button and subscribe for the channel. And don't forget to click on the bell icon so that you get notification whenever the next videos are released. We have some very interesting topics coming in the coming weeks. And in case you have missed the first 5 episodes, you can always click on the top left card and get a link for those episodes and view them as well. And of course, if you like the video, please share it so that it goes to maximum number of people, and people can it also helps them to find the purpose of their life. So coming to today's topic, how to find the purpose of my life. Here's my first question to you. Would you dedicate your life at the age of 18 to become a nun or a monk, settle in a foreign country, leave your steady job to beg for helping the poor? So we are talking about a young person who is at the age of 18, has a steady job, leave that job, go and settle down in a foreign country and start begging to help the poor. Sounds absolutely ridiculous. Can any person find purpose of his life in doing this? But here's a person who actually did this, and we all know her. It is Mother Teresa. In 1950, she founded the Missionaries of Charity, a congregation, that means an institution that had over 4,500 nuns, and it was active in 133 countries. They manage homes for people who are dying of HIV, AIDS, leprosy, TB. They run soup kitchens, dispensaries, mobile clinics, and family counseling programs, as well as orphanages and schools, and for which Mother Teresa received in 1962 the Ramon Magsaysay Peace Award, and in 1979 the Nobel Peace Prize. Here's my second question. Would you choose a career at the age of 25 to settle down in a foreign country, risk your life, leave behind your family and children, and probably never see them again? So here we are talking again of a 25-year-old. Well, it's not uncommon for people to go and settle down in foreign countries for a career, leaving their family behind. But here we are talking about taking a risk where you go and stay in a hostile environment where there is a risk of you losing your own life. So we are talking about a person choosing a career as a spy, and Ali Cohen precisely did that. He was born as an Egyptian. He was an Israeli spy who infiltrated the high ranks of the Syrian military, the anti-government, by posing as a Syrian businessman. And now he was Israeli. He got into Syria and he made his way to the highest echelons of the government. He was a friend to the president of Syria, and the president of Syria wanted to make him the head of the defense of the Syrian government. Imagine a spy who is an enemy from the neighboring country, and you offer him to become the head of the defense. Can you imagine the genius of this person? And he was able to retain the secret for 4 long years. Between 1961 and 1965, Cohen passed the Syrian secrets to the Israeli government, and it is remembered as one of the most daring and productive intelligence gathering operations in Israeli history. It's a wonderful story. It's a story about bravery. It's a story about conviction. It's a story about patriotism. And in case you want to see that, there is a famous web series called The Spy on Netflix. You can catch on it and you can know everything about Ali Cohen on this. So Ali Cohen found the purpose of his life, serving his country by becoming a spy and risking his own life, and ultimately he was beheaded in a public square where 10,000 people went on to witness how he was beheaded, and his body still remains in Syria. It has not been returned to his family as yet. A sad ending, but an extremely heroic story, and he had no regrets. His wife is very proud of him. So Ali Cohen found the purpose of his life doing that, though many of us may found it foolish or ridiculous. Here's my third question. Would you choose to give up a flourishing career in a foreign country to return to your own country doing social service with no professional aspirations? Now this also looks like to be a ridiculous choice. Now here's a person who is already in a foreign country, is having a successful career, earning good money, having a good life, and suddenly decides, I want to come back to my own country to do social service and I have no professional ambitions. And who was this person? Well, it was our own Mahatma Gandhi. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was an Indian lawyer who employed non-violent resistance to lead the successful campaign for India's independence from British rule, and we all call him the father of the nation. The honorific Mahatma, which is a Sanskrit word, great soul title, was given to him in 1914, and from then on the world knows him as Mahatma Gandhi. So all these people found a purpose of their life. What was the commonality? That's what we are going to learn in today's video. So let's start with the basics. Let's start by defining what is purpose, and this is our definition of purpose. We would say purpose is an activity, a vocation, or a platform that makes you feel that you matter. Now look at all the three case studies. Did Mother Teresa matter? Of course. And did she feel she mattered? Of course it did. Second thing is, if she worked for the poor, or Mahatma Gandhi worked in injustice for the non-violence, but nobody took heed of it, well, they wouldn't have been encouraged to continue it for a long period of time. So second condition is that activity, that vocation or that platform should get you recognition for adding value to the world. And number three is you should find a way to sustain that activity, vocation or that platform for a fairly long period of time. Once you have these three conditions fulfilled, you have found the purpose of your life. Now I'm going to share you a very, very powerful insight. Sometimes you're very happy the way you think and the insights you get, this is one of them. Be clear about what you want. Now this is very, very powerful. Now think about it. When Mahatma Gandhi was thrown out of the railway compartment, he could have chosen to focus on the person, and the person he himself. Now if he had focused on himself, he would have been victimized. He would have felt this is gross injustice, what the hell. Of course he was angry. But he did not choose to focus the anger on himself, because then he would have played as a victim, and that hurts your ego. So imagine what he would have done. He would have just gotten and probably manhandled that police officer saying, this is wrong, I have a valid ticket, what the hell. He realized, and probably he chose not to do that because he didn't want to just end the matter over there. Did he choose to focus on the problem? Not really. Because if he had chosen to focus on the problem alone, then probably he could have gone to the courts, made a police complaint saying this is an injustice done to me, and when the court or the police reprimanded the police officer, or if he had gotten justice, he would have felt redeemed. But he did not even do that. He focused on the solution. He focused on the bigger picture. And when he focused on the bigger picture, he started doing some work on that. That is the time he felt he really mattered. That is the time he started adding value to the world. That is the time he got recognition, and then when he came to India, he found a platform of putting that purpose into action for a fairly longer period of time for getting Indian independence, and that is how he found the purpose of his life. Mother Teresa, of course, if you look at her example, again she did not focus on herself. She did not try to make her life better. She did not try to give food to the people, the poor people she met. That would have been focusing on the problem. She focused on a bigger solution, and that's how she found the purpose of his life. So whenever you want to find the purpose of your life, my dear friends, you cannot focus on yourself. You cannot focus on solving the problem temporarily at hand. You have to focus on the bigger picture. I hope you get the picture now. So the very first condition is you have to be clear about what you want to do in your life. You have to be clear about what you want to do, and you have to be clear about what you don't want to do. In other words, you need to answer some hard questions, and these are the questions you can see on your screen. Question number one is, what are your values? Non-violence was one of the values of Mahatma Gandhi, and it mattered to him, and he took it forward. Now mind you, it doesn't matter whether what others think about you. For that matter, many of us even today don't believe in non-violence. But Mahatma Gandhi was so convinced that he convinced almost the whole country to drop their weapons, to not resort to violence, and to face the British lathis with a bare chest and simply go and get hurt. Number two question is, what is the amount of money that you need? I mean, do you want to be rich? Are you happy being having a modest living? And are you like Mother Teresa, who actually goes and chooses to beg and live a poor life? What are the kind of people you want to interact with? This is again a very, very important choice. Do you want to interact with poor people? Do you want to interact with educated people? Do you want to interact with business people? What are the kind of people that you want to interact with? Or do you want to interact with thugs? By that you can find the purpose of your life, where you are a con artist. And finally, what is the level of contribution and achievement that you want to have in your life? You may want to have a small shop in your own locality and you may think that you have found the purpose of your life, or you may want to have 10 shops in your locality, or you may want to have a big shop in your locality, or you may want to have a business which is spreading all over the world. Now, I am not saying that doing business is your purpose, I am just giving an example, okay? Or this question could be put in another way, saying what is the level of sophistication that you want to have about the kind of life you want to live. Now, once you have answered these questions, then we define what is finding your purpose. And here's our definition. Finding your purpose in life is an exciting exercise of searching the platform to manifest the gift of your uniqueness. Now, understand one thing. We firmly believe, and I have been saying this in all my programs, in all my videos, that the biggest gift each one of us is given by God or nature is that we are all born unique. There is no other person on this planet of earth who walks like you, who talks like you, who behaves like you, and that is the biggest gift God has given you. That is your uniqueness. If you can manifest this uniqueness, you become what we call as a UNIP. UNIP is an acronym for unique person. And once you find out the window to express that uniqueness, two wonderful things happens in your life. You have found the purpose of your life, and number two, you get the license to live life on your own terms. You start setting your own terms, and then the magic really manifests. So how can you find the seed of the purpose of your life? There are three sources according to us. Source number one is something that bothers you. And again, something that bothers you at the soul level. I mean, I am poor, so that bothers me. But if it is at the personal level, you become a victim. I am poor. Oh, then you find a good job and you start earning money. Then you have just solved a problem. But if you feel that poverty is a big problem and I should do something so that I help people to become rich, then you could find a purpose. Now, that could be through different ways. You could be teaching people how to earn money. You could be helping people like Mother Teresa by distributing food to them. Or you could be starting a school or a university to educate people so that they get educated, they have their own careers. There are various ways in which you could do that. But what is that one thing that bothers you the most and you want to do something about it to add value to the world and get a solution for the whole world? So that could be the seed. Here we saw the example of Mahatma Gandhi where this injustice bothered him and he resorted to non-violence as a weapon to give to the world to fight the injustice. The second, my dear friends, could be source of your finding your purpose could be the environment chooses you. That means sometimes the environment takes away the freedom from you doing other things. You are forced to do certain things. And again, if you focus on yourself as a person, you could really become a victim by saying, I can't do this. How I wish I could do this. You know, that person has money, he can go to a good school, or I am physically handicapped, so I cannot run like other children. It could be anything, any limitation that is forced only on you by the environment. Mind you, that could be the seed for finding the purpose of your life. So here's my example. You must be knowing the great chef that we have called Vikas Khanna, who is a Michelin star chef in India. And he states in his book that when he was born, his legs were not proper. He could not walk properly. He had tweaked legs and they were very weak. And the doctor said this boy can never walk in his whole life. And his mother was so determined that he said, my child is not going to walk, he's going to fly. And fly, of course, he did. But how did he find the purpose of his life? He said, because I could not walk properly, most of the times I was forced to be at home and I used to be in the kitchen. And in the kitchen, my grandmother used to make food for the langar. That is the food which is distributed at the Golden Temple. So since I spent most of the time in kitchen, I learned cooking. So the environment chose him and he learned cooking out of having no other choice, having nothing better to do. But that is how he found the purpose of life. He became the chef, and later on the same Punjabi food which he learned throughout his childhood, he thought the world should get the Punjabi food, and he started a restaurant in London, and that is how he became world famous. So the seed of finding the purpose of your life could be in the very limitations that you are forced to do by life and which you think is taking away the freedom from doing the other things that you want to do in your life. And the third source could be very simple, is something that inspires you, like it happened with our own Ali Cohen. He was inspired, or like it happened with Sachin Tendulkar, like it happened with so many people in this world. Finding inspiration is very easy. So these could be the three sources by which you can find the purpose of your life. Now, is it as easy as I am making it out to be? No, I never said it's very easy. What if you have so many choices in life, and we are all spoiled by choices? You could do business, you could become an IAS officer, you could become a doctor, you could become an engineer, you could do a job, you could take a sales job. There are so many things that you can do. You can play guitar. We have all the choices. Now, how do we decide what is the right purpose of your life? Well, the answer is very simple. How do you decide which car you want to buy? Do you do research? Of course you do. But would you buy a car simply because all your friends are buying the same car? No. It depends on your budget. It depends on what you like. It depends on whether you like the looks, whether you like the interiors of the car, whether you like the pickup of the car, whether you want to go for luxury or whether you want to go for economy. So it again thinks about what you want. But after that, what do you do, my dear friends? Of course, you take a trial. You take a trial, you get the actual feel of the car, and only then you know whether you really want to buy the car. Otherwise, it's a stupid thing to do. The same is the thing we do while buying clothes, isn't it, my dear friends? When you want to buy clothes, do you simply go and buy clothes just by looking at them, how they look at the rack or on the stack, on the shelves? No. You pick up the dress and then you go in the trial room and you try it out. So the best way to know whether anything works in your life is try it out. So we recommend you should try things. If you can try things while buying a clothes which are worth a few thousand or a few hundred rupees, or if you can try out something while buying a materialistic thing like a car which is worth a few lakh rupees, how about when you are making a career choice or deciding where you want to spend the rest of the 50 years of your life? Don't you think you should try it out first? Definitely you should try as many things as you can. So I call it hustling, I call it scrambling, and in my programs we teach it under the name of the UBU attitude, where you say you should try out newer and newer things in your life. Now you may have questions, but what if I lose time? I mean, come on, trying clothes doesn't take a lot of time. But of course I don't agree with that, because people spend ridiculous amount of time in shopping. They spend hours and days together just to try out 10 dresses and then buy 1 or 2 out of them. If you can spend so much of time in buying clothes, how about spending time to make a career choice? So, but people are still reluctant. अरे यार ये कुछ नहीं करता है, कल गिटार कर रहा था, अभी कराटे कर रहा है. He's just wasting his time. He's not focused. He's not consistent. He doesn't have his mind fixed. He has a wavery mind. Well, forget about all this crap and just try out new things. Because there is nothing called a wrong choice. When you try out, you know, I don't like this. And then you try something else and you say, I don't like this. And you try something else and you say, I don't like this. And this process may take 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. Well, here's the good news. All that does not go waste. All those dots ultimately connect. I'll give you 2 examples. So one was Steve Jobs. When he was in college, he went on to do a course on calligraphy. Well, he did not become a calligrapher, but was that time waste of time? No. The time invested in that course really helped the whole world. How? When he was designing the office suite for MacBook, that is keynote and pages and numbers, he decided to have fancy fonts. Before that, we had only boring fonts, and in fact there were no fonts. The dot matrix printer never gave us any fonts. But because he did a calligraphy course, he understood the importance of having wonderful fonts, and that is why we have wonderful fonts in computers today. So that is thanks to Steve Jobs. When I was in school, I had a pretty average life. I was not good at anything. I used to score average marks. I was not good at sports. I was not good at most of the things that I wanted to do in my life. I was pretty average. My confidence was low, and I always thought, I had a belief that I'm dumb. But my dad actually coerced me to try out a lot of things. So I tried photography, I tried air rifle shooting, I tried karate, I tried fast reading and memory efficiency, I tried computer coding, I tried many things in my life, and ultimately I stumbled upon training. It took a lot of time, 5 years and 6 years. But don't you think, my dear friends, it's better to spend 5-6 years trying new things, being adventurous, and ultimately stumbling upon something that you want to dedicate the next 50 years of your life to, rather than sticking on to one thing right from the beginning and spending 60 years of your life feeling miserable and doing something which you don't love. So it's a choice that you got to make. So according to us, you should try more and more things, and ultimately you will stumble upon the purpose of your life. Now's the final part. Once you stumble upon the purpose of your life, you will find the dots connecting, but you need to focus and follow one course till you become world class. You need to achieve excellence in it. Suppose you find You love playing tabla and that's the purpose of your life. But that's not good enough. If you really want to make the purpose of your life, you should be world class at that craft, and then you will live life on your own terms and you would have become a UNIP. I hope this video helps you, and till then, bye bye, and see you in the next episode. And if you like the video and if you don't like the video, please give in the comment section. That can help us to make future videos and add more value to your life. Bye bye. Thank you.